Hi, I'm Trevor Hands, a proud GCHS alum in 1998 and a graduate of the BBS program. I've got some friends together today to explain why you should enroll in the AV Tech and Communications Pathway track.
When I think back at my high school days, there's a few things that come to mind, but at the top of that list would be my time at BBS TV with Mr. McNutt. This was a program that did a lot for me. It gave me direction in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was a kid for a long time, and I figured it out pretty quick when I signed up for advanced broadcasting.
It gave me some experience and it led me to try out something that I ended up discovering was my passion. Having that program in high school was very key in me deciding which college I was going to go to, which career path I was going to take. And I don't think I would have been able to figure that out if those opportunities wouldn't have been presented to me while I was in high school. It helped me get scholarships. It helped me achieve a dream of going to college and not having a student loan.
The main reason I took it my freshman year was to get rid of a speech credit. And then from there, and then from then on, I'm like, wow, I really like this. It helped me bring in confidence for myself. Let me know if I worked hard at something, I could get something out of this. Taught me so many life skills, so many, work with other individuals, be part of a team.
The perks of working in media, you get to meet a lot of cool people. And by cool people, I mean sometimes your heroes or a musician, you might really like their CD. The first artist I met working in radio, I had tickets and a meet and greet pass to meet Taylor Swift. I've interviewed Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour a couple of times, Keith Urban, Brad Paisley, Blake Shelton, Darius Rucker. Now Darius Rucker, he's a country artist now, but anybody my age remembers him from Hootie and the Blowfish, so meeting Darius Rucker was a big deal to me.
I would have never imagined the world of possibilities that opened up to me once I started taking Intro to Broadcasting. I've been able to be a part of some pretty cool projects and meet many amazing people along the way. I was an associate producer and assistant editor to Oprah's O Ambassador program. I've worked as an assistant editor on several shows that air on TLC, the Game Show Network, and DirecTV, and had the chance to meet with and talk to quite a few celebrities. Who would have thought that a farm kid from Garden City, Kansas could be doing all this? I sure didn't. And it all started the first day I set foot into Mr. McNutt's Intro to Broadcasting class at Garden City High School.
I've always been able to be employable based on the skills that I learned at BBS and the Sugar Bee. They run deep. It's a very thorough foundation that is poured in these high school students at that age when they're really trying to figure out a lot of things.
I wanted to be in radio starting off, but I'm like, let's try both sides. Let's see, how both sides of the things work. Written TV, just loved it. I got to, the best thing about the broadcasting class is you learn so many skills. You learn how to, run behind the camera, how to be the talent, how to work the sound, the audio, everything.
So I actually took his Introduction to Broadcasting class, and I remember I was so quiet back then. I read this copy that I wrote for this commercial, for this this fake flower store, and I remember McNutt and one of the students looking back, and they're just like, and they're like, where did that voice come from?
Just being in McNutt's class, Mr. McNutt's class, has just been a really fun experience because he makes it fun for everybody. He doesn't yell at you. He just makes it an enjoyable time for everyone.
I now blame Mr. McNutt for helping me fall in love with video. He was instrumental in laying the foundation to my success as a videographer. He not only taught me the basic fundamentals of video, but instilled in me a love of the craft.
A lot of what I've got out of it just this year is I've been doing work with filming for football games, and I've really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed being on the sidelines for the football games and doing all that.
These guys are willing to work with these kids. That's the best part about them. They're teachers, they're also parents. They also know how hard it is to get through life when you're an adolescent. And these guys are always willing to be flexible with the kids. That's probably one of the greatest things that I appreciated about them. Being in school was these guys were very, very flexible.
Into my sophomore year, I was a member of the yearbook staff and the Sugar Beet staff. At that point in time too, I also had a problem with showing up to school I would show up for Mosier's class and not a lot of the other ones. I'm glad I had that mentor to guide me through that. It taught me a lot of personal responsibility. There's a lot of work to be had whenever you're doing a job in media, whether you're video editing or audio editing. You know, there's a lot of work involved in it. But you also have to make sure that you're taking care of personal responsibilities outside of that work as well, and not just focusing on the fun part or this part of it. And Mr. Mosier really taught me that as well. Taught me that life's lesson, to make sure you're taking care of the big picture. He didn't have to be that mentor. He could have just let me crash and burn on my own. But he gave me that boost that I needed, you know, to where I wound up going from having an entire year that I wasted in high school to graduating right on time. And that was a level of dedication that not many teachers have had for me.
And your Garden City High School has one of the premier facilities in the state of Kansas. We also have proactive teachers like Mr. Mosier, Mr. McNutt, and Mr. Bernal, who are constantly searching for the latest and greatest trends in technology to ensure you graduate equipped with the knowledge and skills to be successful in this ever-changing world of mass media. As a student in AV Tech and Communications, you will receive immediate hands-on training with equipment. From my own personal experience, nothing is more important than getting familiar with all the tools of this trade. When you get a job in this field, you need to be able to use the equipment on day one, and you'll get that here.
The best thing about BBS is it gives you so much hands-on practice. That's something I cannot stress enough. That will help you so much. It's easy to, you know, take up notes and like, I'm supposed to plug this in, I'm supposed to do this and talk about this, but when you're actively doing it, it becomes a lot easier and you remember it a lot more. I mean, like I said, work with so much different software, work with Macs, work with PCs. We did everything on both sides. That way, we're ready for both worlds.
Now it's having my son do it. You know, he's showing me he's got to put together a time playlist. He's got to put time in for commercials. He's got to set a log. And that's exactly what we have going on here every day.
These kids, they come out of the program so ready. You know, I say that not only as a former student, but I also used to work as a para for Mr. McNutt from 2006 to 2008. And the kids, they were racking up the KAB awards every year. It was just crazy, and it's just awesome.
You may not choose to pursue a career in broadcasting after graduation like I did, and that's okay. But I'm certain that you will find the skills you learn in AV Tech and Communications to be immensely beneficial in a career as a teacher, athlete, doctor, musician, banker, whatever. Enrolling in the AV Tech and Communications pathway not only teaches you tools of the trade, but also incredibly important and necessary life skills. Working as a team, meeting deadlines, and achieving the highest of standards. For instance, BBS and KBBS walked away with over 200 awards at Kansas Association of Broadcasters last year, many of those being first place.
For these kids to go in and produce something that is award-winning, you know, and it really like boosts self-esteem and confidence in the field too, you know. You're 17, 18 years old, you win an award, and you're kind of like, man, I can go out and conquer this thing.
I spent, you know, my whole day in the arts communications area if I could. You learn so much there, and they help you out so much. I never felt afraid to ask any of those guys, you know, what am I doing wrong? What can I improve on? What can I do to make myself better? They pass on their experience to you, which is the most helpful thing possible.
Even if you don't apply it to a job in media, I mean, you still learn how to communicate through those classes. You know, with photography, you know, you can learn how to communicate through a photo. If you take Yearbook or Sugar Beet, you learn how you can communicate by writing, you know, in those ways. That's why I think it's a benefit to anybody coming in, even if they don't want to pursue a job in media. I mean, there's lessons to be learned how to communicate or how to like interact that, you know, are just irreplaceable. Like I said, going in, I was a shy kid. Now you can't shut me up.
You know, we here at the Garden City High School have a very unique mashup between good qualified teachers, great technology, and a great facility. You know, you can have one or two of those elements, but we've got the trifecta here in this building, and we've got to be able to utilize that properly. If you go muddling around, you go messing around with any of that, you're going to start losing elements, and eventually that entire program is going to fall apart. You can't, you know, I wouldn't be doing where I'm at today if I didn't have a relationship with these guys 20 years ago. You know, it shows that over the 15, 20 years between when I took it and when my son did it, their ideals are still the same. You know, it's appreciated, again, both as a parent and a former student.
It helps jumpstart the transition into college or professional field that much easier, just having, you know, comparable technology in the high school classrooms for those programs. And those programs have always been top notch. As far back as I've been involved with them, they've always been a step above, at least one step above everybody else.
Having a new technology really helps out. It just allows us, you know, we're not using 10-year-old, 20-year-old dusty computers. We're not using a dial-up connection, you know. We're trying to be, at BBS, we're trying to be at the forefront of everything. It just helps, you know, the newer things they have, the better they can prepare their students for the real world.
Equipment is extremely expensive, and that's why proper funding from the school and fundraising like the telethon are so important, because it keeps students relevant in a field that is constantly changing.
For, you know, BBS is, I guess, to stay relevant, they need help with the computers. I mean, Mr. Miller does the best he can, but when he has so many kids on newscasts, so many kids, you know, working on graphics, I remember when I was there, man, our classes were big. There's only so many computers to go around.
Things are becoming more mobile, and as things are becoming more mobile, all the equipment we have is kind of getting outdated.
Even with an iPhone or an iPad camera, you can film in high def, and you can take that into a video editing program, and you can edit pretty decently with video from an iPhone or an iPad. I can even like record stuff to send back to the boss to put on the air from a mobile device, an iPad or an iPhone. It's just, everything's going smaller.
Just take a chance, you know, there's not much to lose, but there's so much more you can gain from it. It's been a worthwhile experience for me personally, and for a lot of people, for pretty much everybody I knew that went through the program. It's a big team, it's one big family, is what it is. There's so much fun, you know, so much things to do, so many people that are helpful to you and just want to see you grow and be better than you can be.
Join any multimedia classes, whether it be radio, television. You got radio media, you got television media, you got internet media, you got social media. The classes that Mosier and McNutt have will give you a full round spectrum of all types of media.
These are the types of programs that I truly believe in the 21st century, when we are so media driven. These are the types of programs that are going to put institutions head and shoulders above everyone else. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, BBS, the Sugar Beet, anything, multimedia, Garden City High School, it has to stay around. It has to be taken care of, and it has to be placed in good stewardship for the next generation of folks to continue on with it, because it's something special and it's something that needs to continue on so that even more students can experience success and win in life.
So please consider enrolling in programs like BBS TV and KBBS Radio. Who knows? Maybe you're the next famous movie actor, widely renowned journalist, artistic photographer, in-demand DJ, trusted news anchor, or award-winning film director. It's possible. And the possibilities begin right here at Garden City High School.